Good evening, Retroverse. Good evening, people that the globe, the universe, and everything itself. My name is Retro Scorpion speaking here. Welcome in, everybody. We are going to be playing some Liberty Kids for a PC game, and I have the case right here. This is to honor the end of the school year, which happens to be tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day of school for our local children's schools. And to kind of honor that, we are playing Liberty Kids, and also, coincidentally, we are supporting our local college, Great Bay Community College, and supporting the Great Bay Herons. I'm wearing one of their hoodies. I'm wearing a Great Bay Community College hoodie, so, because I've had this since God knows when, so we're supporting them, as well as, also, while we're at it, shout out to our newest subscriber, Joshua Streams, Games and Streams, or so ever. Joshua is our latest shout out guy we are shouting him out for. Shout out to him. And if you want to check out his channel, his link is in the description. As always, guys, if you are new to the channel, please hit that like button, because one like equals one luck. And don't forget to drop a subscribe if you want to, because one sub equals one Lego brick to build a community. And don't forget to ring the bell icon for the notifications of our videos, and you just might be saved by the bell. Alright, let's get started. I am not 100% sure how this will fall all into our luck, so let's go ahead. We are going to hit display capture, and let's load this up. I'm pretty sure we have Liberty Kids in our computer stuff, but we'll see. So, time will tell. We're gonna pour some Boston tea, cause God, I used to watch these DVDs growing up, and that's what always popped up. You're welcome, Josh. Got you, man. Welcome in. Thanks for popping by, Josh, and thank you for a subscribe. I'm hoping this will boost your numbers.
As the end of the 18th century approaches,
Another exciting assignment has just come in. You'll find it over on the bulletin board.
But regardless, Josh, I was happy to shout you out. Thank you for the newest subscription recently. I got you. This is kind of for you, but it's more or less... We did want to shout you out in the title and everything. And Josh, I don't know if you can tell, I actually put your channel link in my description so people can go sub to you. This is a shout out to you, man, but this is also to kind of honor the end of the school year, so. Alright. Let me just, before we get into this, I need to pour some Boston tea, because this is a Liberty Kid situation. You're welcome for the sub. Thank you, man. We're always looking to make new friends over here, man. Oh, shit. Cord. Alright, while I'm at, let me use whatever's. I got one of this, put that there. Pour some Boston tea real quick. Pour the Boston tea. And there you go. Unfortunately, we've already done the Boston Tea Party mission on this game, so. We'll get started with our little missionary here in a minute. I'm actually going to put this Boston tea in the conduit down below, so that would pop it up. And while I'm going to spike the Boston tea with a little caffeine and everything. It's got to sip on a little bit first, so. Spike the Boston tea with a little bit of caffeinated beverage. Yep. Caffeine spiked Boston tea. Cool. Alright.
If there is a new assignment on the bulletin board, you can investigate that story. If there is no new assignment, finish working on your current story. You can also select a finished front page to see it or print it out.
Oh, Josh, you saw that we streamed Mario Kart as one of your favorite games. Which do you prefer, Mario Kart Double Dash for GameCube, or do you like Mario Kart 64? Because those are actually the two, the two Mario Kart games we streamed. We, earlier in the year, streamed Mario Kart 64, but we also recently just streamed Mario Kart Double Dash. So, I think you may mean Double Dash,
We just
but...
received word that the Americans have been victorious in battle at Saratoga. It's no secret that the British plan for ending the war was to cut the New England states off from the rest of the country, with Burgoyne's army from the north meeting two others coming from the south and west.
It appears the British plan failed. No way that will happen now.
It appears we need to find out exactly what happened.
We need to find out all the details. Sarah, James, it's up to you. You need to determine the who, what, when, and where behind this American victory. And I want thorough reporting here. Be sure to get at least 2 different thoughts about why people think it happened. And if at all possible, try to make one of them Benedict Arnold. My instinct tells me he was involved somehow.
Benedict Arnold. His bravery inspires the soldiers.
The questions you need to ask are in your notebook. Don't forget to listen for the quotes that contain the most accurate and complete information. Good luck, and Godspeed.
I love this game, as well as I love the series on PBS growing up.
Why didn't the British realize how difficult it would be for them to communicate in the thick forests of New York?
They were hoping that this campaign would lead to a quick victory for the king.
Sounds like a couple of them had their own agendas.
Wait. How do we... Oh. You mean tell me we can't go in any of those barns? That doesn't make sense. Oh, there we go.
Some British troops recently defeated General Washington in Philadelphia.
Yes, the Battle of This cabin appears to be abandoned.
No wonder. Cannonballs have passed through the roof.
What is that? That's gotta be a candlestick. I think that's a candlestick, right?
Candle making is a very important skill. Everyone is dependent on candles for supplying light.
Oh, Josh, you watched both. Oh, cool.
A loaf of bread. Smells good.
I fancy a loaf myself, actually. A loaf of bread sounds wonderful. Oh, never mind. Okay, we can't go there. Let's do... Wait, what? What? Oh, wait. Oh, so we can't go there. Alright, zoom back. Now, what about this way?
Part of the problem with the British plan must have been the terrible condition of British and Hessian women.
Hello, I'm James and this is...
Sarah, we're here to find out about the recent battle.
Battle? She means victory.
Yes, I know of the American victory. My husband is General Friedrich von Riedesel. He led the Hessian forces fighting under British General Burgoyne.
You're here in America with your husband, a Hessian general?
My children are with us also. It isn't easy to keep the family together under these conditions.
It must be very difficult. May we ask you some questions?
I could better answer your questions if I could locate my journal. It describes everything that has happened since we arrived.
Okay, so let's grab the quilt. Wait, what?
A quilt?
I could better answer...
Oh, I guess that's not something we can grab yet. Oh. We tried that. Let's try this way.
Evidently, the Americans started a rumor about a huge colonial force heading toward one of the British camps.
Oh, thank you, Bayala.
Yes, and that lie caused many Iroquois Indians to desert another British army that was to have joined up with Burgoyne. Without their Indian allies, the British didn't have enough manpower to win.
All's fair in war, Sarah.
Anyway, while I'm at it, Josh, you dropped me a follow on Twitch. Thanks, buddy. I'll drop you a follow on Twitch later. I'm not currently logged into my Twitch on either one of my computers at the moment. So.
The British plan relied on help from the Iroquois.
thousands of colonists have joined militias that make the
Oh, look! A child's rag doll. It must have been dropped here.
Sir, we'd like to ask you a few questions about the recent battle.
I have fought in several recent battles. I am a Hessian soldier, serving under General von Riedesel.
The battle we want to discuss is the one that resulted in the American victory.
Yes, the Americans outnumbered us. We had no choice but to retreat. Now, with the Americans surrounding us, we have no choice but to surrender.
May we ask you some questions?
You may, but first the Baroness von Riedesel expects me to deliver a letter to her husband,
Think about it.
General von Riedesel. I must go get that letter right away.
We'll go get the letter for you.
Oh, so there's so much. So Benedict was the guy we needed to talk to, 100%. This way.
The Iroquois Confederacy is actually made up of 6 nations.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and this is James. We're with the Pennsylvania Gazette.
We're here to find out about the American victory.
I am from the Mohawk Nation, part of the Iroquois Confederacy. We support the British cause, so this was not a victory for us.
The British cause? But didn't Benedict Arnold enlist some Iroquois to help the American cause?
Yes, the Oneidas are aiding the Americans. This war has caused a rift among the Iroquois people.
May we ask you some questions?
You may, though first I must find a blanket I misplaced. Perhaps you have seen it while traveling through the area.
We'll look for
Okay, so the Iroquois needs a blanket. Not that I'm against that. Like, everyone's gotta have comfort. Anything else useful here? What is this? What? Okay, what?
An Iroquois war club.
War club. Interesting. Interesting choice of weaponry. So we can't go that way. Oh, we've been that way. So I think. Wait, there's a pathway here. I didn't
The
know.
British knew they would.
That's a Bible.
Sir, we're reporters from the Pennsylvania Gazette, and
James, let me. I will be a bit more diplomatic. We'd like to ask you about the recent, battle.
No need to beat around the bush. I'm a British soldier serving under General Burgoyne. I know we're surrounded by American forces. In fact, I know that the conditions of surrender have been worked out.
then you don't mind if we call it a victory?
Well, call it whatever you want to. I'm headed home. The terms of surrender don't allow us to serve again in America during the war.
Would you mind answering a few questions?
If I wasn't so hungry, I could answer your questions. We ran low on provisions days ago. Perhaps you could locate a loaf of bread for me.
Bingo.
Oh, thank you. We've been on half rations for days. I know plenty about the terms of surrender because I'm carrying a very important message from General Burgoyne. It says that we accept the American terms for surrender. Here, can you deliver it to the American General for me? I'll just set it here on top of those clothes. But first, go ahead and ask me your questions.
This particular character was in the Boston Tea Party bit. Oh, good muffle. Unfortunately, I can't tell what muffin this is. Yes, it's a good muffin. Oh, it's a blueberry muffin. No, it's a cranberry muffin. I think it's cranberry orange. That's really good.
If we need some help, we can always recall who was involved in the Battle of Saratoga.
Ought to know the names of all the Americans. I'll tell you though, there were lots more of them than us.
Tell me more.
American militia units just kept right on arriving to serve in General Gates's army.
What factors led to the American victory?
General Burgoyne couldn't wait any longer to attack the Americans. We were completely out of supplies.
Tell me more.
We had too poor a plan for such American resistance. That fool Arnold had 'em all riled up. They outnumbered us, and were they ever mad. We were out of supplies, and our allies went and deserted us.
When did the events leading to victory occur?
I can't remember. We got here after a long march south. Well, I think we got here in early September.
Where did the events leading to victory occur?
We didn't retreat very far before the Americans had us surrounded. Well, I know we're in New York, south of Fort Ticonderoga. Once we left there, we were lucky to travel a mile a day.
Last question.
Why was the American victory so important?
We retreated in total disarray. It was an embarrassing defeat. General Burgoyne hopes that calling this surrender a convention will make it look like less of a disaster. Well, I don't like to admit it, but the courage of the Americans surprised us all. It forces us to abandon hopes for a quick and easy end to the war.
Yeah, we got something. It's not... Ooh.
A message on a scroll. Someone may be needing this.
No, we have to find the Burgoyne general. Now, the problem is, I don't know where to look for that. Okay. Maybe backwards? Look there. Back here, maybe?
There's the American camp. Look at the fortifications that surround it. I thought building a fort was as simple as nailing a few boards into place.
I bet the British wish you'd built this fort. It might not have been an American victory in that case.
She's got a point. That boy...
Until recently, General Schuyler was the commander of these American forces.
Yes. When General Gates replaced Schuyler, he moved the American... Benedict...
You're General Gates, aren't you? The commander of all the American forces in the North?
I am. Some in Congress believe I should replace General Washington as Commander-in-Chief.
May we ask you a few questions? Moses of the Pennsylvania Gazette sent us to find out about the American victory.
At the moment, I'm waiting for a British soldier to bring a message from General Burgoyne. If the British general accepts the terms of surrender I have offered, I have agreed that we will call this surrender a convention.
We'll find the soldier and bring the message to you.
Ah, yes. It looks as though the British will accept the conditions of surrender I offered. I've sent a messenger to Arnold's tent. You may speak with him, if you wish. I'd be happy to answer your questions now.
Yeah. Is it just me, or does this guy sound like an AI, like, text-to-speech? Just thought.
Who was involved in the Battle of Saratoga?
Congress just recently appointed me to take over this unit. Daniel Morgan and his riflemen rushed from the hill, overwhelming the British. Benedict Arnold behaved like a madman, but his prank forced Burgoyne to retreat. As commander of the Northern Army, I should be hailed as the hero of Saratoga.
Whatever you say, fucker.
What factors led to the American victory?
Our success depends upon soldiers following orders. Arnold will not be rewarded for his mad prank. The tide is turning in our favor. The first battle here was a draw, but we were victorious in the second.
Alright.
When did the events leading to victory occur?
More than 2 weeks passed between the first and the second battles. We defeated them on the battlefield in early October, but it was 10 more days before the terms of surrender were worked out.
Where did the events leading to victory occur?
Luckily, the fighting didn't happen here. During the battle, I stayed in my headquarters. The fighting took place about 10 miles from Saratoga.
Why was the American victory so important?
I bet they'll come to call this battle a turning point of the American Revolution. This victory will inspire the troops to continue their fight. As you must know, Benjamin Franklin has been urging the French government to aid the American cause. This victory may persuade France that the Americans can win, and Britain that the fight is far from over.
Okay, we're done.
A chessboard.
Can't say that's 100%. So where the hell is the Boy Toy's tent? Or did we pass it somehow? That actually might be his tent.
I've heard a message.
Mr. Arnold? General Benedict Arnold? We're from the Pennsylvania Gazette. We'd like to ask you some questions about the recent American victory.
Are you certain you want to interview me? I'm quite unpopular with the politicians, I'm afraid.
But you are certainly respected by the soldiers.
They admire your bravery, and we do too.
Thank you. I'd be pleased to answer your questions. First, however, I must write a letter to a friend in Congress requesting that they reconsider my promotion in light of my performance during this battle. Unfortunately, I can't locate a bottle of ink.
We'd be honored to help you get that letter written.
So we have to find a bottle of ink. I mean, kudos, but Jesus. So now we gotta locate a bottle of ink. Jesus. Alright, let's... Unfortunately, there's no bottle of ink here, so we have to look elsewhere. Jesus, I don't have time for this. Alright, so we gotta locate a bottle of ink. This way.
I'm never certain just I've never seen so many hills and ravines. Excuse us, ma'am.
She's got nothing to offer us, does she? Let's go left.
There doesn't seem to be any reason to go any further.
A blanket, Jesus Christ. Is there anywhere I can use? Oh, a piece. Nothing useful in here, so we need to find ink or something. Jeez. Hold on. Uppies. There. That's a quill. Nope. These guys has to have a fracking bottle of ink, I bet. Back. Back. The ideology that... Wait. Is there two? Didn't think there was anything useful here. This is kind of annoying. Trying to locate areas. Any other zoomables? It's her. Jesus. Hold on. No. Could be in... No. Oh wait, bud. There was a nice zoomable, wasn't there? Up. A bottle of ink. Well, this is gonna be a toughie. There's no other way to zoom around, is there? No, we were right here, but there's no ink. Hold on. Jesus. Hold on, is it? Nope.
Some wealthy gentlemen think it fashionable to...
That's fine. I want to know where the fucking bottle ink is. Now, hold on. We saw that there was a blanket here someplace, so... Let's backtrack. Let's go this way, Nope. This way? This way. Backtrack. Nope. Probably this way. Nope. That way. Now we know that one of the guys needed a blanket, so...
A blanket?
Now let's go back to the British camp. Nope. That leads to that camp. Up forward. That way. Alright. No. Where was the camp that I need to get to? Okay.
I must find a blanket I misplaced. This blanket was made by my grandmother. Thank you for finding it. Ask me your questions. I'd like to tell you how this war has affected the Iroquois people.
he doesn't appear to be helpful towards us, given the fact that he doesn't have ink. So, what do we do now? Unfortunately, we don't. It doesn't seem to help us. Hey, alright. So someone actually can give us ink, can't they? Hold on.
I'm expected to start dinner right away. The soldiers are hungry, and I can't locate a kettle.
We know where there's a kettle.
In Iron Kettle.
Dowie?
I'm expected to start dinner right away. The soldiers are hungry, and I can't locate a kettle. Could you bring me one? Thank you. I'll get some water boiling right away. Would you mind taking this bottle of ink to General Benedict Arnold? He'd like to write a letter to Congress. He deserves recognition for his...
So, oh, my bad. Forgot to grab the ink bottle.
A bottle of ink.
Jesus, she had the ink the whole freaking time. That's funny, actually. Alright.
I observed one of the soldiers' wives. Thank you. I'll get that letter to Congress written right away. I'd be happy to answer your questions now.
Who was involved in the Battle of Saratoga?
We wouldn't have been victorious if I'd followed General Gates' orders and stayed in camp. I don't expect Congress to recognize my part in this victory. Even though I was shot during the battle, I'm sure General Gates will get all the credit.
What factors led to the American victory?
My leadership and bravery were instrumental. When the British divided their forces, our numbers, along with my leadership, enabled us to win this encounter.
When did the events leading to victory occur?
It was starting to get very cold, I'll tell you that. It's fortunate it happened after I arrived. General Gates did nothing but sit in his headquarters during the battles.
Where did the events leading to victory occur?
Where it happened is not as important as who was involved. As a matter of fact, neither battle was fought in Saratoga. Saratoga is where the British finally surrendered after losing a battle at Freeman's Farm, near Bemis Heights, 10 miles to the south.
Why was the American victory so important?
I doubt this victory will help my career. General Gates will be sure I never get the promotion I deserve. The British will have to give up their hopes for a quick victory now. And after this victory, France may even come to our aid.
No, he's gonna get his recognition on the front newspaper.
Welcome back. I'm anxious to get all the details.
Good.
Try to pick...
According to British century, American militants arriving to serve in John Gates' army.
Feedback appears below each of your quotes. Good work. This is the layout area, where you can make your newspaper front page look just the way you want before you print it out.
Oh my goodness.
Choose a sketch for your front page and type in a headline. Publish the paper once you are finished.
Josh Games and Streams, thank you for buying our membership. Dude, that is awesome. You didn't have to buy our membership, but by all means, you know. While we're at it, Josh, let me showcase some of our stickers for you, buddy. Just give me 1 sec. Dude, Josh, thanks for buying the first tier of the membership. That's really nice of you. You didn't have to do that. Thank you. I guess while I'm at, let me showcase super stickers for you. Those are emojis, but I didn't mean to say specific. We have this one, which is the I like cheese one. We have this one, which is kind of reference to this game, which is the Boston Tea Time one. We have this one, buddy, which is our freaking Bob one, which is actually reference to my little alien thing here. So that's Bob. And then, of course, now this particular emoji we use during epic shooters or something like that. That's the Boinkum emoji. So there's your selection. Feel free to use them. Just, don't spam a lot of them. I still haven't worked out my Nightbot enough to where it won't clash you. But yeah, feel free to use our custom emojis now. You will be able to. So. Thanks, man. I worked hard on them. Okay, I know what I'm going to save for this. Notice me, senpai. I don't think that the game's gonna care what I put on the front page, but notice me, senpai. I think because this guy wants recognition, so we're putting notice me, senpai. So I 100% am not regretting this. I won't spam them. Thank you, buddy.
The Battle of Saratoga is being called the turning point of the Revolutionary War. It seems that this American victory has convinced France to join our side. We need to get this story into our readers' hands. Well done again, Sarah and James. You can see how many papers we've sold on the chalkboard. Your story about the British defeat at Saratoga will be of great interest to Ben. Perhaps it will even convince the French to join us.
Oh, this is grand news indeed. A victory of this magnitude should be enough to sway the French to the American side. Their help is essential in winning this war for freedom.
With the war about 2.5 years old now, and winter fast upon us, this is a critical time for the Continental Army.
I sense a story about to break.
As reporters, you'll have to ask the right questions.
How
and
many,
get the fact. If there is a new assignment on the bulletin board, you can investigate that story. If there's no new assignment, I just received word that the Continental Army has evolved into a skilled professional military force.
The Continental Army has really been not much more than a group of starving, ragged amateur soldiers. They have certainly not proved to be much of a match for the British on the battlefield.
That has been true up until now. So I need you to find out how the morale and fighting capabilities of the Continental Army have been improved.
Oh,
Sounds as though Britain might have a real challenge winning this war now. Let's go find out the details.
We need to find out all the details. Sarah, James,
dude, I remember this show
you
when I
need
was
to
a kid.
determine who
So,
and what boosted the spirit and skill of the Continental Army, and when and where it occurred. And I want thorough reporting here. Be sure to get at least 2 quotes about why it happened. And if at all possible, try to make one of them George Washington.
George Washington, the commander-in-chief of the Continental Army? It's a great honor any time we can talk with him.
The questions you need to ask are in your notebook. Remember, listen carefully and make wise choices about what you save in your notebook. Excellence in reporting means a better story, which will equal more newspapers sold. Let the voice of liberty ring free and clear. Good luck, and Godspeed.
We're gonna complete this game tonight. I don't
Why
care.
do you suppose General Washington chose such a cold place for his winter encampment?
Not a lot of difference between the... Aren't you the Marquis de Lafayette, one of the richest men in France?
James, General Lafayette is of French nobility.
Yes, but now I am here in America. I was drawn here by the American struggle for independence. I've come to aid the states as a volunteer.
May we ask you a few questions? Moses of the Pennsylvania Gazette sent us to find out about the recent improvements in the morale and professionalism of the Continental Army.
I have only recently returned here myself. In fact, I'm waiting for General Gates to send my trunk to camp so I can get settled. But once I've received my trunk, I could answer a few questions.
Okay, so real quick, Josh. When we were kids, me, or you, or whatever, we used to get these promo DVDs, in the cereal boxes. They had like promos of different shows like Super Mario, Super Show, Heathcliff, all that, which they also included Liberty Kids. It was a thing back then before they stopped putting prizes in cereal boxes. It was quite a shame when they stopped doing that too. So,
General Washington was.
The generals rented houses.
I must finish this report to Congress.
A jackknife.
Not that. Alright, so we need. Set the jackknife. Not 100% sure how that's gonna be helpful. No, same deal. So that's where General Washington is. So we now know where to go.
After that long, cold journey, the soldiers were expected to build huts as soon as they arrived. These.
What caused the death of so many soldiers? Well, well, a newspaper. It's not the Pennsylvania Gazette, but at least it will have some news.
Sir, we're from the Pennsylvania Gazette.
Pennsylvania, huh? Myself, I'm from Connecticut. I'm used to these cold winters.
You're a slave?
I was, but I'm confident now that my future, as well as this country's, is one of freedom.
Well, we'd like to ask you a few questions about the improved morale in the Continental Army.
Yes, when we first arrived, we were hungry all the time, but much has changed since then.
May we ask you a few questions?
Certainly, but before I get too comfortable, I want to go get a new pair of boots.
So bro needs a new pair of boots. Okay. Consider it done as soon as I can get out of here.
I've heard stories of the suffering that troops faced.
What led to the shortages in... Hi, I'm Sarah, and this is James. We're with the Pennsylvania Gazette.
I am Polly Cooper. My people are the Oneida, the people of the Standing Stone. I am here to aid the Continental Army.
In that case, have you noticed an increased morale and professionalism in the Army recently?
Yes, much has changed here in camp since I arrived.
What can you tell us about the changes you've seen?
I can tell you a bit, but first I must find my knapsack. I used it to carry...
So hold on. She said people of the stone, right? Could that be Son of Stone? Turok, Son of Stone. Good ref. I'm 28 now, turning 29 this year. So you were born 1997. And I only know, well, no, you could have been born 1996 actually. Well, regardless, Josh, you're turning 20. You're 28, turning 29. How funny. I'm 27 right now, turning.
Moses wanted us to find.
Turning 28 in July. Actually, next month I'm turning. Next month I'm turning 28. Oh my God, how funny! So you're turning 29 next month. I really shouldn't be getting too comfortable with details.
In Iron Kettle.
But dude, if you don't mind me asking, what's your birth? What's the day? What's your number? What's your date? Day number? You know what I mean. What's the day you were born? What, like July what? July 23rd. Oh my God, that's so funny, dude. Josh, you're probably not gonna be able to believe this or understand this, but me, I was born July 20th. My birthday's July 20th, Josh. I'm not even joking. My birthday's July 20th. You and I are like 3 days
Moses
apart.
wanted us to find out the who, what, where, when.
You and I are like 3 days apart, bro. That's awesome. It's not often I meet other July people. People of July, so.
General von Steuben? Ben Franklin's associate, Moses of the Pennsylvania Gazette, sent us to find out more about the new professionalism in the Continental Army.
Well, happy birthday when it comes, buddy.
Is that the same Ben Franklin who introduced me to General Washington as a lieutenant general in the Prussian army?
The same. He exaggerated your credentials a bit, because he realized that an officer trained by the Prussian army could help General Washington discipline the troops.
Discipline is easy when the officers gain the love of their men. They must put their soldiers' needs first. But how can I help you?
Well, we'd like to find out more about this discipline. It's true. The soldiers came here as little more than a mob of amateurs.
Yes, I'll be happy to tell you what I know. In fact, I am writing a manual of regulations about the techniques I've developed. You'll need to go retrieve it, though. A soldier has borrowed it to do a bit of study.
Jesus, we have a grocery list of things we need done. So he needs boots. He needs that. So what do we do? Gosh, we have a lot. We have a grocery list of things that need done, eh? So we already went that way. We already went to the main camp. So what? Wait, what's this? Already went there. Let's go this way.
Until recently, there were several American military stores
with so many sick.
That's the woman's knapsack.
A knapsack.
Well, maybe we'll find some boots.
A barn couldn't make for a very sanitary hospital.
That's
especially.
Hold on. We need to look.
Look.
That's the boots we need. 100%.
A good pair of...
Anything else we need?
We're entering York, right?
Yes.
I just read a pamphlet blaming General Washington.
Wait.
A message on a scroll.
Let's see if it's the same one we're looking for. But first, let's head to the main camp and give her
I
thing.
must find my knapsack. Thank you. This
We'll work with her here, miss. So, hold on.
I'm writing a manual of regulation.
Was that it?
I'll need the manual of...
No, that's not it. That was 100%.
Before I get too comfortable, I want to go get a new... Thank you. It's good to put on a pair of new boots. If I could ask just one more small favor, perhaps you could deliver a manual of regulations to General von Steuben.
A copy of Bear...
I'm writing a manual of regulation. Dankeschön. Thank you. You can refer to this manual of regulations when you want additional details.
Who helped improve the morale and discipline of the Continental Army?
The credit goes to every man in this camp. I began by training a model company of 100 chosen men. When these men were fully trained, each taught another group.
Not that that's helpful, but we'll write it down.
What led to the improvements in the morale and discipline of the Continental Army?
Before I arrived, the camp was unsanitary, and the men were miserable.
Do tell.
The troops did not know how to maneuver on the battlefield.
Tell us more.
The soldiers received coordinated training and discipline from the officers, which gave them confidence. They became an organized military force. Better sanitation reduced illness. Plus, food and supplies began to arrive at the camp.
Okay, sorry, Josh, I had to listen to that first. But yeah, Josh, I played Legend of Zelda. We played Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time on this channel. As a matter of fact, Josh, we have, I believe, a playlist of the whole gameplay. We have a complete playlist on my YouTube channel, and it's from start to finish, I believe, of the Ocarina of Time. There's a whole playlist of separate live streams and videos for that. So, if you want to go to my channel and check out that playlist, by all means, because we do have a playlist section. I believe we do. Hold on. I'll check out that playlist. Yeah, we have a playlist of the Ocarina of Time gameplays, and just so you know, they are past live streams, so they are kind of long each. So if you got time to kill, those are your go-tos. So.
When did the improvements to the morale and discipline of the Continental Army occur?
An exact date would be a guess, because these sorts of changes happen gradually. arrived in this country last fall, but I didn't come to the camp until February. It wasn't long after that the soldiers began to take pride in themselves.
Where was the Continental Army when it improved in morale and discipline?
The change happened in the hearts and hands of these soldiers. We've cleaned up the garbage in the camp, arranged the tents in rows, and placed the kitchens and latrines on opposite sides.
Dude, this French guy is poetic.
Why was it so important that the morale and discipline of the Continental Army be improved?
I am writing a manual of drills and exercises based on the plan I devised. The troops now have the skills, equipment, and drive to defeat the British in open battle via a modern 18th century military organization.
I'm not 100% sure any of this shit helped.
It's good to see you two again.
Who helped improve the morale and discipline of the Continental Army?
Morale was low because the soldiers were cold and hungry.
No, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This Native American woman sounds like a sweetheart. I kind of want her to be my mama. Just kidding.
We Oneidas walked hundreds of miles to bring corn to these soldiers when they were starving.
See? Just what I said. Sweetheart. I am not even lying to you. That is a sweetheart.
What led to the improvements in the morale and discipline of the Continental Army?
I don't concern myself with military matters. My concern is that the men be fed. Most of the Oneidas left after the corn was delivered. I stayed behind to teach the soldiers how to prepare the corn, but I was too busy to notice much else around me.
I'm good. Like, guys, I don't think you can see, but I'm fucking tearing up right now. That was kind of sweet. Oh, I'm fucking crying. That was fucking sweet. Oh my fuck. Sorry guys, I get pretty emotional when I see wholesome shit happen in a game. Alright, let's try when.
When did the improvements to the morale and discipline of the Continental Army occur?
Yes, there does seem to be an improved spirit in the soldiers. The arrival of this year's spring brought schools of shad to the river, and with it a new confidence to the soldiers.
Where?
Where was the Continental Army when it improved in morale and discipline?
The Oneidas have lived and farmed on land north of here for many hundreds of years. This place is called Valley Forge. It lies just east of where Valley Creek and the Schuylkill River join together in Pennsylvania.
Well, I guess we got some sort of info. Now someone needs what we have. What do we have here? A message. I'm not 100% sure who needed what, so. We did to her, we talked to him. He needs his trunk.
I must finish this report to Congress. Please come back later.
Alright. That's unfortunate. Ooh. Bread. I think we have room for bread, I think. Let's talk. Me and Henri can have
A loaf of bread.
No.
Henri, are you still trying to convince General Washington to let you enlist?
It doesn't hurt to try, does it? I'm a bit older now, you know.
Actually, maybe you can help us out a bit. How long have you been here?
I came here when the soldiers first arrived, but it was just plain miserable. I returned recently and...
Did you notice changes in the morale of the soldiers?
Certainly. It makes me really sorry I can't join up now. I can tell you what I've seen, but I have a problem. A lady sent me to buy a thimble and I left the money back in camp.
Money? Where's that money? So he left money back at camp, but this is the camp. So
12 men share this hut.
12 men in a space only.
A soldier's uniform.
Well, that's fine, but where the fuck's the money? Oh, wait. What is that?
A portfolio containing what looks like rather important papers.
I mean, that's a portfolio. Where the hell is that? There's money. They say there's money around here, but where the hell is it? Jesus. So, huh? Wait, there was something. Hold on, I'm looking for anything upon it. No, that seems still is back there. So where's that money? Where's that money? Now there's money. Hold on. Okay, this is kind of annoying. Ooh. Nope. Nope. Okay. That's kind of unfortunate. Now, he said he left money back at camp. The question is, where do you leave the money? Back. Nope. I saw something here, but no, there was money here. You say he might have left some money. Not that I'm against it. Doggo, catto. Oh, wait. Damn. I'm looking at every nook and cranny to find that money. Oh.
So, while the soldiers were starving, it appears the rest of them...
Well, as long as we're here, we may as well eat. General Gates? Remember us? James and Sarah from the Pennsylvania Gazette.
James, Sarah, yes. You met with me right after my victory at Saratoga.
Yes. This time we need to find out about the increased confidence and professionalism in the Continental Army.
I've heard rumors to that effect. How can I help you?
May we ask you a few questions?
I may be able to tell you a few things. However, I am awaiting a message from Congress. It seems they do not want to invade Canada, as I recommended. The message may... As I suspected, the invasion of Canada will not occur. Perhaps you would not mind delivering this trunk by the table to the Marquis de Lafayette.
Alright.
A packing trunk.
He's got something done. Alright. So we need to go back. Packing trunk.
I'm waiting for General...
If we need some help, we can always recall...
Dude.
Thank you. I'm very eager to unpack. It's good to be back here with General Washington and his troops. I've sent a messenger to General Washington. You may speak with him if you wish.
Who helped improve the morale and discipline of the Continental Army?
I've been focused on preparing for battle. I was appointed by General Gates to be in charge of a campaign against Canada. I discovered that General Gates only appointed me to the position in hopes of shaking my loyalty to General Washington.
Nope.
Hello again, my...
Where was the Continental Army when it improved in morale and discipline?
It's an excellent location. Since the British are occupying Philadelphia, Congress has moved to York. The location is between the two towns. It's close enough to Philadelphia to allow us to monitor the British. The place is known as Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. It's about 20 miles northwest of Philadelphia.
When did the improvements to the morale and discipline of the Continental Army occur?
It was while I was away that the changes occurred.
Why was it so important that the morale and discipline of the Continental Army be improved?
Improved conditions should convince many soldiers to remain loyal to General Washington. When the Continental Army leaves its winter camp, it will be a strong, disciplined fighting force. This military strength, combined with the French alliance, will put the British in a panic. Hello again, my friends.
Damn it, they keep being sweet and tender in this game. I'm gonna tear up and cry. Stop it.
The soldiers have such admiration.
Hello, General Washington. We meet again.
We're always honored to have the opportunity to speak with the Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army.
Sarah, James, it's good to see you both.
We have heard that there have been great improvements in the morale and professionalism of the troops.
Yes, there were many times when I feared the army would surely disintegrate. But now the soldiers are confident and disciplined.
Can you tell us more?
I'd be happy to tell you all about it. First, however, I must complete a report to Congress. Unfortunately, I left my portfolio somewhere in the camp. You know, a packet of my important papers.
We could look around and bring it back to you.
Gotcha.
Thank you. I'll get that paperwork finished and off to Congress right away.
Who helped improve the morale and discipline of the Continental Army?
The soldiers were discouraged because of lack of provisions. But I do not wish to throw blame upon any person.
And that's why you were the president.
My men were nearly naked and starved. I wrote to Congress warning them that unless supplies arrived, the army would dissolve. When General Nathaniel Greene accepted the post of Quartermaster General, supplies finally began to flow regularly into camp, which helped morale.
The what?
What led to the improvements in the morale and discipline of the Continental Army?
The soldiers were starving because Congress let the Army's supply system fail. In the rest of America, people were feasting. The arrival of a Prussian officer to help with training turned this army into a unified fighting force. The arrival of the new Quartermaster General allowed supplies to flow regularly into camp. News of France forming an alliance with America further boosted morale.
I'm gonna get the win.
When did the improvements to the morale and discipline of the Continental Army occur?
There were 3 months of hardship. Morale began to improve in February of this year, when von Steuben arrived.
I got the where. Let's try the why.
Why was it so important that the morale and discipline of the Continental Army be improved?
Many soldiers died here, but I believe this place will be remembered for what was accomplished. The Continental Army will leave this winter encampment as a well-equipped, well-trained military force. We're much better prepared to stand up to the British.
Welcome back. I'm anxious to get all the... Try to pick the...
When asked the responsible was for improvements, Army's morale. Okay. Bingo.
Feedback appears below each of your quotes. Good work. This is the layout area, where you can make your newspaper front page look just the way you want before you print it out. Choose a sketch for your front page and type in a headline. Publish the paper once you are finished.
Let's get frisky. Frisky, mates.
The harsh winter at Valley Forge could have spelled the end of the American army, but instead, they have emerged stronger and better trained. Let's get this story published so our readers can learn of this amazing turn of events. Your story about Valley Forge was very interesting and informative. I'll hurry a copy down to the harbor. A ship is leaving for France this evening.
Hello, Zex, by the
Hopefully,
way.
Ben will get this news by next month.
After all that has happened in the last few years, I feel that things are building to a conclusion. First, the amazing transformation of the American army at Valley Forge. And now, the British decision to focus their military attention on the southern colonies. With Benedict Arnold becoming a traitor and now ravaging Virginia, not to mention Lord Cornwallis and his army heading towards Yorktown, Washington and his French allies have their hands full.
Rumors abound of the generals on each side moving their troops like pieces on a giant chessboard. And like chess, the decisive move may come at an unexpected time. I want you two packed and ready. As reporters, you'll have to ask the right question. If there is a new assignment on the bulletin board, you can investigate that story.
We didn't sell very
If
many
there's no new
copies.
assignment, finish working on your current story. You can also select a finished front page to see it or print it out.
Alzax, just to show you, this was my gift from my grandma for my 25th birthday on July 20th of whatever year. This is a Zippo lighter, and it's a vintage, well, not vintage, this is an old Zippo lighter of the New England Patriots. It's the New England Patriots Zippo lighter, and if you look on the back here, and y'all can listen to this too, my grandma engraved a heart with her name on there, so. I think she laser engraved or used some sort of etching tool to engrave it, so. But that's kind of a sentimental gift I have from her, so. And of course, since we're playing a vintage game of Revolution, I have to have my Irish pipe, so. Alright, since Alzac, since you're here, I'm gonna do this just for you. Alzac, I'm gonna pour some Boston tea for you, okay? Just sit tight. And the last thing we're gonna do is the Battle of Yorktown. So while I'm playing this, I'll pour some Boston tea in your honor, buddy.
I just received word that the American and French forces have achieved an astounding victory in Virginia. The British Army may be surrendering. Some are saying that this might mean the end of the war.
Oh, I pray that they're right. America has seen enough bloodshed in its fight for liberty.
Victory! This is the story to end all stories. We need to get to Virginia and get that scoop.
We need to find out all the details. Sarah, James, it's up to you. You need to determine the who, what, when, and where behind the British surrender. And of course, as always, be sure to get at least 2 quotes about why people think it happened. And if at all possible, try to make one of them the British General Cornwallis.
General Cornwallis. A British general.
Yes, James. It's called thorough reporting.
The question...
Yorktown is a small town on the edge of Chesapeake Bay. The British are encamped within the town.
And it looks like the Americans and French have the place surrounded. We need to find out what is going on.
Regardless, I was like, can you drop Led Zippo's link, buddy? The French helped us defeat Lord Cornwallis. Regardless, I was like, can you drop Led Zippo's link? Because if that's the case, you know, I'll be happy to look at the brother. So,
What a pity that this war has caused so much destruction.
This is the edge of the British. It doesn't look like that British sentry will let us pass.
Hey, you two. Don't I know you? You're reporters, aren't you? Sarah and what's your name?
James Hiller. Famous reporter.
I guess not that famous yet, James.
soon to be famous, after publishing this story on what could prove to be a disastrous defeat for the British.
Too true, mate, too true. In fact, I've been looking around for a white flag.
A white flag?
A white flag shows I'm done fighting and want to surrender.
Okay, concert done. You want a white flag? I'm gonna find you a white flag, sir.
This is called a redoubt.
I know what a redoubt is. A protected fortification outside the main camp. It appears that the Americans overran this one.
Excuse me, sir. We're reporters from the Pennsylvania Gazette. Would you mind answering a few questions about the British surrender?
I suppose. I fought alongside the British, but I didn't volunteer to come here.
That's why we'd like to hear your point of view. You're from an area of Germany known as Hesse Castle, right?
Yes, they call us Hessians. My services were sold to King George by the Prince of Hesse-Kassel, but I received no pay at all.
Could you tell us a bit about the British surrender?
Y'all see.
Could, but what I really need is money. I'll need it to start a new life once this war is over. What few coins I had saved were stolen.
Oh, I actually feel sorry for him, even though he's the enemy.
It's amazing.
Regiments of soldiers respond to different signals beaten on a drum like...
Nope, same difference. Okay, doink, doink. Ooh, that's a bayonet.
A bayonet.
I do know that sometimes soldiers need a new bayonet, so... Doink.
The American camp. The French soldiers are camp. These are the outskirts of the American camp.
It still might be a good place...
I feel...
excuse me, but don't we know you?
You sure look familiar. We may have crossed paths several times during this war. I was at Lexington, Trenton, Valley Forge.
That's right. You've been very helpful. Would you mind giving us your thoughts on the British surrender at Yorktown?
Certainly. I've been keeping notes in my journal for several months now. Problem is, I seem to have misplaced it. If you can find it, it would help refresh my memory as to all...
Okay, just subscribe to Led Zippo. Led Zippo's got 1.15k subs. I give him credit. I just subbed to Led Zippo. Yeah, if you guys would stop with the cockadilla doing, that'd be great.
A knapsack.
So yeah, I'll shout out Led Zippo sometime. Poor guy might need a little shout out. Excuse me.
Why are we out here? All the reporting action is back at the camp.
Hold.
Just a moment, dear James. One must be
Had to.
An axe. Very useful for chopping firewood.
Or weaponry.
Henri, what are you doing out here?
Tired of the army food and looking for something else to eat?
Always you make jokes about my stomach. But you are wrong again. I am missing my drum.
That's right. Henri is now a drummer.
Merci. Thank you. And don't forget to take the white flag I found. I have no use.
Waving a white...
A white flag shows I'm done. Thanks much. You're free to... Well, hello.
Hold on, should we talk to somebody else first?
What I really need is money.
That's the Nelson House. I was told that Lord Cornwallis made it his headquarters.
Well, it looks like the inside of this place didn't take too much. This place is called the Bunker. A protected place under...
I'm trying to find money, but it's hard.
This looks like the barracks. You know, where the soldiers sleep.
Not very comfortable if you ask me.
There's so...
Gee, that's not like...
The basement. Looks like a lot of troops were stationed. The cellar. I think this looks...
That's not what I thought it was. I thought it was a pots full of money. I hate this. I hate that. So... Gee.
Sir, we're General...
Damn it. Trying to find that poor Hessian some money. Let's see we're right about the... Alright.
This old barn looks like a good place to find... This is quite a find. A bag...
Ah, that's the money. Okay, consider a victory.
What I really need is money.
We found some coins.
My missing savings. I am truly in debt to you. Now, how can I help you with your story?
Dude, if they keep with this sentimental stuff in this game, I'm gonna cry. If you click bell notification, you will be notified. Yeah, I already clicked the bell icon. Already clicked the bell icon. He's an English teacher. Wait, what? He's an English teacher from Canada who has lived in Taiwan for 20 years. He's sort of mellow, laid back kind of guy. Ooh, we love laid back kind of guys. Those are cool.
Who was involved at the Battle of Yorktown?
I never saw who we were fighting against, but I know who was on our side. I and many other Hessians fought alongside the British.
Yeah. Let's try the when.
When did the British decide to surrender?
It wasn't soon enough. We were completely surrounded and had no chance of escape.
Doesn't matter that shoulder wound, I can only imagine.
Where did the fighting take place?
The fighting? More shooting cannons than actual fighting, if you know what I mean.
He's right, you know.
Apart from the cannon fire, most of the hand-to-hand fighting took place when the rebels captured 2 British redoubts or fortifications in Yorktown, Virginia.
Why do you think the British decided to surrender?
I'm not sure of our general's reasons. My comrades and I were tired of fighting.
So he was actually not a helpful source at all, so... well, we might want to check with Henri. Maybe go ahead and check with Henri, but I'm not 100%.
That looks like an important tent.
A journal.
Looks like quite a nice place.
A message on a scroll.
Okay, so let's go find our boy in the woods.
I need to find my journal.
We found your journal!
Perfect. Now my children and grandchildren will be able to know what we went through to protect their freedom. Now, you're back! It's good to see you again. Now,
Sir, you don't...
You're back! It's good to see you again.
Who was involved at the Battle of Yorktown?
The bravest bunch of soldiers you ever saw.
You know, this person says he's gonna tell you, he don't sound like a dad.
The Continental Army under General Washington and the French under General Rochambeau. We fought against Lord Cornwallis and his troops.
Did he just say what I think? He just said Rochambeau? My fuck. Rochambeau, where the fuck have I heard that before? Oh yeah, they say... I'm gonna have to educate you guys after this stream on where I've heard the term Rochambeau before. I know it's not by revolutionary terms. Just a heads up, it's gonna be harsh.
What happened during the Battle of Yorktown?
We surrounded the town. The French fleet kept the British from escaping. We attacked 2 of the British redoubts. With these taken, we could move our cannon close enough to continue heavy fire.
When did the British decide to surrender?
Not long ago. Just after I got off sentry duty.
Where did the fighting take place?
Near the York River, in Virginia.
For a guy that wrote stuff in journal, it's very bland.
Why do you think the British decided to surrender?
We were too much for them, that's why. The British had the York River behind them, and our American and French troops completely cut them off in front. They had nowhere to retreat.
I love the cockiness of soldiers. Just a heads up. I know it sounds dickish of me, but I don't give a fuck. That was funny. Let's chuck this asshole Cornell.
Excuse me, sir, but are you Lord Cornwallis?
Of course I am. Who did you think I was? Benedict Arnold?
No, sir. My friend was just trying to be polite. It's not something he's had much practice at.
If you bring me some tea, I'll consent to tell you what led to this sorry state of affairs.
Well, great. Another fucking bullshit artist. I don't like this. I don't like the idealism of having to... Alright. And great. More fucking...
This looks like a medical kit for giving someone a smallpox in
Damn it, I don't have time for running around doing fucking jury duty.
First, I need a secret message I'm expecting from General Walker.
We found the message.
Thank you. It's some more false information I'm to give to Cornwallis. I put the teapot over there.
a teapot. Tea is a popular drink made...
I guess that helps. Is that what we need, though?
If you bring me some tea, I'll consent.
We found James Armistead. He made you this tea.
Oh, well done. That Armistead is really a very good servant. I'll miss having him around. And now for your questions. If you will print... Ah, yes. The reporters again.
Who was involved at the Battle of Yorktown?
I don't...
It seemed like everyone was involved.
You know, I don't like the fact they called that poor man named servant. I don't like that shit. No, it's Lord Cornwallis. It's Lord Cornholio. Y'all chat just trying to break me at 1 a.m. What the fuck's the matter with you guys?
Some people... I led the British Army against combined French and American forces headed by Rochambeau and Washington. The French Navy was also here.
What happened during the Battle of Yorktown?
It was disastrous. Absolutely disastrous. The noise was terrible. I couldn't even drink a cup of tea in peace. The Americans obtained siege guns that bombarded our encampment. They dug trenches to get closer to us much faster than we expected. Our retreat was cut off by the French fleet, so we had no choice left but to surrender.
When did the British decide to surrender?
That fateful day will be forever etched in my mind. The morning of October 17th, 1781. Right after my artillery commander informed me that we were almost out of ammunition.
Where did the fighting take place?
We could not seem to mount an attack at all.
I was like, you need to stop being a teaser in the morning, man. I have people sleeping.
The fighting took place in Yorktown, Virginia.
Jesus.
Why do you think the British decided to surrender?
Well, among other things, the heaviness of the American bombardment surprised us. I knew that our defenses would soon fall. I was forced to surrender because the British Navy did not rescue us. We were trapped, we were out of ammunition, and the enemy was about to break through our fortifications.
I know exactly.
Ah, yes. The reporters again.
Welcome back. I'm anxious to try to pick...
When asked who was involved in the battle, a Haitian soldier replied, "No." According to American soldier, yep. Where? Hmm. 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 Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. 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 Mm.
Feedback appears below each of your quotes.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Good work. This is the layout area, where you can make your newspaper front page look just the way you want before you print it out. Choose a sketch for your front page and type in a headline. Publish the paper once you are finished.
I couldn't help with this. I couldn't help but pull the "I'm sorry, so sorry, that my love."
Congratulations, James and Sarah. An excellent story. And I have a surprise for you. Guess who has returned from Europe to celebrate the official end of the Revolutionary War with us? Now that he's finished helping to get the peace treaty signed with Great Britain.
Ben Franklin! I can't believe it!
What a wonderful surprise! We've missed you terribly.
I have been away far too long, but reading your excellent accounts has hastened the passage of time.
It has been an honor for us to be apprentice reporters here, Ben. Moses has passed on all your wisdom.
Apprentice reporters? Moses, haven't you told them the news?
I wanted you to tell them.
Tell us what, Ben?
For your great service in keeping the flame of the revolution burning brightly over these many years, Congress has agreed with me that you deserve a very special recognition of your endeavors.
Not only are you now full-fledged reporters,
but based on the number of papers your stories have sold, you are to receive a special award for excellence in journalism.
I don't know what to say.
I do. Yahoo!
This award represents our young nation's gratitude for your hard work in maintaining the spirit of freedom through your stories. A spirit that I am convinced will live on as the United States of America shines forth the light of liberty.
Congratulations! You've done a great job covering important events of the American Revolution. You may print out any of your newspapers by selecting them. Select Start Over if you want to play again. You'll need to pay close attention, though, because things may be a little different the next time around.
Okay, we done. That said, guys, we have officially completed the Liberty Kids game. Thank you. That is like, hold on, let's count the total here real quick, because I think we've completed a ton of games this week. So let me just give me a minute. I gotta count the fucking total of games we complete. We completed Lego Island 2. We completed Turok 1. completed Doom 1. And we just completed Liberty Kids. That's 4 games in a row we've completed this week. So, I can't complain. We did well this week. We're completing games. So, with that being said, guys, I bid deal. Well, kind of not gonna. It's 1 a.m. So, everyone, take the liberty to go get some sleep. I don't think I will. I'm too fucking excited, but I may not be live again. But right now, I'm more focused on going to our friend Josh's Twitch channel. I'm going to drop him a follow because I promised him I would. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been a wonderful experience. Plus, I got to uninstall. I have to uninstall the Liberty Kids game. So. Because we've beaten it. We completed it. If y'all need to see this over again, by all means, please be kind and rewind. I'll see you later. May the retro be with you. Stay retro. May if not retro, you're repro. And may the power of the Retroverse be with you all. And a very good night. Thank you.